Yeah, let's see what's on TV.
Welcome to Ultimate Stare Down Challenge. We've got Elmer No Flinching Jensen versus Fred Freaky Eyes Palmero. I'm your host, Stephen Paul, with my co-host, Jay Esse. Say hello, Jay.
Steve, I've been looking forward to this matchup for a long time, okay? This is the culmination of months of study on my part.
This match is one for the ages. Elmer Jensen is a legend of our sport. No one in the Northwoods has been able to just compare with how amazing he is.
I had the pleasure of interviewing the great Elmer back in the 80s, and let me tell you, it's not something you forget overnight.
Fred Palmero, talk about an upstart. You know, he's new to the league. He's a young gun in our sport, but he's got big things going on. He really does, doesn't he?
They say the kid's amazing. I mean, he's got power behind that stare. Just look at the concentration in this young gun.
I've heard Elmer spend an inordinate amount of time in Asia studying with some of the stare-down masters of that continent. It's going to be interesting to see what he brings to the table with that Asian influence. Oh, it looks like Fred's going down.
What just happened?
You're definitely going to be psyched out when you're going against a legend of the sport like Elmer Jensen. You know, the training and preparation that goes into this is amazing, but when you're confronted eye to eye with such a legend of the sport, it's just going to rattle your nerves. I've heard rumor that Fred grew the goatee just as an intimidation factor. What do you know, Jay?
Oh, he has, and he did. It is a terrifying facial feature to encounter.
Is he gonna? Oh, he might. Oh my goodness, it looks like Elmer Jensen's breaking out the old stank eye. Now that's illegal in international competition, but not here at Ultimate Stare Down Challenge.
This is awful. Why am I watching this? Wow.
Update. Johnny Boy, a.k.a. the Mick, has been apprehended. A jury of his peers said this mayo-munching freak show needed to serve his time reading to the elderly.
I think we're a secondary concern. They've got what they came for. Without all that, we've got an interesting story, Sam. What in the world can be so important about that bell? Hey, Granny, you in the back. Quit the chit-chat. I'm reading.
Wow. You gotta be kidding me. Awesome.
Hey, it's Al from the Musky shop, and a lot of people talk about tuning your crankbaits and your jerkbaits. Today we're going to talk about tuning your bucktails. Oftentimes if they get wanked, get a fish, do something foolish, they'll get wanked, and this causes them to spin. Instead of tracking true, they spin, and all that flashaboo gets tied in wrapped tight around the shaft, and it just looks awful. It looks like a corn dog coming through the water. So what you can do to fix that is take your pliers, back off probably 3/4 to an inch, give it a good 45-degree or more bend like that, and that'll make like a keel, and it'll cause that bait to track true again, and it'll stop spinning on you. And here is an example of a commercially made one where they've already done it because they've got imbalanced blades causing the thing to spin and turn and wrap. So they fixed it for you. They just bent the end. That's all you got to do. Get you through the day anyway.
This is something I do that really helps get your hooks much sharper. Vice grips. A vice grips? Yes. What it does, if you take the shank of your hook and bite it in a vice grips like that, you create a bench vise of sorts, you know, in the boat, where you're sharpening your hooks. It creates a much better surface and a much more consistent surface for you to sharpen your hook. And then all I do is triangle sharpen it, like you're sharpening a harpoon. Equal strokes on both sides, and then one over the top. You create that triangle edge, and it's way easier to do that, especially, by the way, with these black nickel plated hooks that have such an incredible hard surface on them. But it works equally well with bronze hooks and even the silver cadmium hooks. But the vice grips, a vice grips and a good file, this is a JBO file, but any good file and a vice grips will make your hooks that much sharper, so that when you put your thumbnail on them, bingo, and you'll get an even sharpening process that's easily resharpened by doing the same thing.
Hi, I'm Captain Matt Rayleigh here at the Musky shop. I'm going to kind of go over a little bit of special weighting on jerkbaits. Right here I got a suic. It is a weighted suic, but still it's going to have a decent rise to it. So especially a lot of times with jerkbaits, one of the keys to trigger more bites is to try to figure out the fall rate or the rise rate on jerkbaits. So obviously if you want to run more weight on a Medusa, bulldog, anything like that, you can add more weight to get it to drop faster. You know, obviously they make special weight kits for them. One other quick way to do things, especially with like your suics, because those weight kits don't work, is to run a little dipsy swivel. I just put it right on the front hook hanger. I like doing this a lot. Two cases. I want to get the bait down there deeper. This weight's going to make it dive deeper, and then it's also, you can weight it so it's gonna rise slower, or you can actually put enough weight on to get them to sink too, so you can work it a little bit deeper that way. So just put it on the front hook hanger. Real simple, just like so. You can take them off, do different weights as the day goes through. So it's a 20-second process. And then, like I said, I like using them a lot, especially month of October around here. Get that down there deeper, let it rise slower, you trigger more bites.
Hi, Elmer here from the Musky Shop, and today we're going to do a little tip on bucktails and how to get a little bit more action out of them. I never fish a bucktail without putting one of these little guys on it. It's a little white grub made by Mr. Twister. There are various other kinds. Kalen's makes grubs, other companies too. And what I do with these is we just thread it on the back hook here and just push it on there like that. Come around and just push it on. So it's just like that, and that hangs out there. When that comes through the water now, the blade's spinning, the hair's pulsating, and that tail's flipping around. It gives it just that much more traction. It'll make a difference in getting a hit or not, getting a bite or not.
Going to talk about the Smitty jerk baits and all other jerk baits too. Kind of there's a technique to using a jerk bait, and I've been catching muskies on jerk baits for over 50 years, and this was the first model that we came out with, was this about a 9-inch jerk bait. And our baits are all weighted with lead right about in here, and it's very important on jerk baits especially to have sharp hooks, because a lot of times they'll hit you on that little slack period, and having a good high-speed reel helps to pick your slack up a little. But make sure that the hooks are all good and sharp. And 90% of your strikes are up here. They're trying to kill a jerk bait, and they always hit them towards the head. So especially this hook needs to pay a lot of attention to. And I always tell everybody the best way to learn how to use a jerk bait properly is to invest in going with a guide maybe for a day, because there's different techniques. And I always tell people that it's best if I could show you by casting in a boat with you, but I can tell you what to do and you can try it on your own. But what I do is I always vary my retrieve. I never do the same cadence like jerk, pick up the slack, jerk. I always mix mine up. I'll give it a couple long jerks, a short jerk, raise the rod up once in a while. It makes the bait dart off. When you give it that different cadence, it makes the bait turn this way, and the next time it might go this way, or maybe it goes this way a couple times, and then you give it a short jerk, it makes the bait turn that way. When the bait makes the turn, that's usually when the strike occurs. So always vary your retrieve. Don't get stuck in the same cadence all the time. And now there's different sizes of jerks. Like this size here, there's a different technique than the big one. The smaller jerk bait, you can use a lot shorter little twitches and jerks, and because it's shorter, it turns a lot more. It's a lot more active. It's a great bait for using earlier in the year. You know, it's a good all year round bait too, but it's a great bait for early in the year because the size is a little smaller. So that's why we have the two sizes. They're all weighted with lead. They're not really a super glide bait, but we do make a power glide bait that looks like this, which actually sinks. And that one sinks about a foot a second. And that one, the best technique I've developed to use that one, I just use my reel handle, and I point the rod tip down, and I give it a short, sharp with the reel handle, and it'll actually get to walk the dog. And it's a really deadly bait in spring because it has real much hang time. It'll stay in their face a long time, and really is deadly at that time of the year, which it's a slower retrieve. It takes a lot longer to get back to the boat than, say, a standard jerkbait would. So there's different techniques and different styles. One thing I found too, like when you get the algae bloom, like in say September or so, that if you go with a bait like this, it's a crankbait. But if you jerk it at that time of the year, what happens is the lip in the front makes the bait stop after you make the jerk. So it just hangs there. Where this type of a bait will glide. This bait, when you jerk it, when you get algae water or it's real stained water, you jerk a little crankbait, and when you stop your jerk, the bait stops, and that really gives them time to zero in on it. Plus, the vibration of the tail wiggling and the noise that makes kind of zeroes them in some of the stained water. So it's another technique that you can use instead of steady cranking, is to jerk bait. The little crankbaits work really good. So I hope that helps you guys catch some fish, and see you in the water.
Hi everybody, Don at the Musky Shop. I'm going to talk today about what I call, are you using the right rod? I've noticed in my boat that the guys that I have with me, when they're casting, their rod is really loading up and not doing a real good job of putting the bait where they want to throw it. They're working too hard to do that. So my suggestion to those guys is to go one step heavier. Musky rods are medium heavies, and extra heavy action. So I tell them to step up one action of rod or one power of rod, and they seem to be a lot happier and do a lot better at casting. The other thing I noticed is with figure eights, if you're seeing too much drag of the rod tip as you're doing that figure eight, then you're not using the right rod for that application too. To give you some feedback about what I like, is I use a heavy action rod pretty much 90% of the time. Light action rod, a medium heavy, is designed for smaller bucktails, surface baits, twitch baits. The heavy action gives me what I need to do most everything, and the extra heavy is something that's designed for big rubber and big heavy jerk baits. There's my tip of the day. Thank you.
All right, Doug from the Musky Shop. I got a couple things here we offer at the shop here. The dozer blades and these spinnerbait arms we sell separately. But just showing you a couple quick modifications on some of your soft plastics. The spinnerbait arm here I got it attached to a regular swimming dog. And you can see there I got it right to the eye there. And it actually adds a little bit of a flash. You almost can use it just like a regular spinnerbait. Pump it in and stuff like that. It gives you some flash, more vibration, especially if you're fishing maybe some darker water or low light conditions after dark or whatever. Just get some quick add-on to this here. And then like on the dozer here, this is a double blade 8s. I just split them right on there. And you basically can crank it in almost like just like a bucktail. You get the action from the bait, and you get the vibration from the blades. And you can pump it in too. Again, darker water, low light conditions, or even on a sunny day, a nickel blade or a gold blade will give you some flash. So just a couple of quick tips. It takes you 2 seconds to put this stuff on here, and you're ready to go.
Hey guys, we're at the Musky Shop. It's balmy outside, but I got 2 new hot products from Brad and Carrie over at Musky Mayhem. First one's a double bucktail with a 7 and a 9-inch blade. It's 8 inches long with one 7-aught hook. The trick to this thing is the metal sleeve there. You get that nice metal grind, just like your favorite topwater baits you have with that metal grind, the fish catchers. And this is the trigger. Second one is the detonator. This is the beast mode. It's 11 inches, 2 7-aught hooks, 3 skirts, has the exclusive 13 blade and a 10-inch blade, number 10 blade, again with that sleeve, metal on metal. Let me paint a picture. Imagine slow rolling this over your deep rock bar or anywhere you've moved a monster fish at prime time. Great slow rolling bait. This one can be burnt in or slow retrieved, either one, from spring all the way to fall. This one's just going to be a big fish magnet. But both of these baits are from the originators of the big blade bucktail, Musky Mayhem.
Hi, I'm Jake Smith from Smitty Bait, and I got a couple of my favorites I want to show you today. This is the small Mercer Creek or Mercer Creek Junior. This is the bluegill pattern. It's a really good bait early in the year. It's a small little jerk, so I'll have it darting back and forth. You can, give it pauses and it hangs pretty nice in the water column. Its larger version is the Mercer Creek Senior and trophy model, I guess we call it. And this is the Northern Pike pattern that we came out with. It's an updated color for this year, and this one goes quite a bit deeper. I used this later on in the year. You can get this one down 5 or 6 feet. Same thing, glide action. You jerk it and it glides to the side, small little jerk straight down. And this one is the thumper jerk bait that I designed about 4 years ago. Came out with. It's got the replaceable thumper tail. This is a jerk bait. This is not a glide bait. When you pull it, it'll go this way and that way. You can get it darting all over the place. It's very erratic, not like a glide bait, and it hangs very well in the water. You jerk it, you can just let it hang. It's really good for cold front days or days you want to move something a little bit slower.
Hey, it's Al from the Musky Shop, and I got a tip for burning over shallow weeds. If you're constantly getting your big bucktail hung up on those shallow weeds, take off that front hook and it's going to eliminate probably 80% of your troubles. Just get rid of it. You don't need it. Bucktails slide great anyway. So all you need is your handy split ring pliers and just a little bit of patience, and you can get that right off of there, like so. And believe it or not, that's going to eliminate probably 80% of your fouling problems. If you'll notice when you're casting, most of your troubles are on that front hook. Bucktail, there's nothing to grab onto. When you set the hook, it's going to slide. It's going to pay off anyway. So remove some of your problems with the simple split ring pliers.
Hi, it's Elmer from the Musky Shop, and we're going to cover a little bit about how to sharpen a hook here today. And I've got a hook sharpener here. This is a couple of chainsaw files put together. Wood handle. It's a really nice hook file. I use this for a quick touch-up, like I'm out fishing or something around rocks. And even when you get the bait in the weeds too, you're going to need to sharpen them hooks up. So what I do with this chain file, just lay it on about a 45-degree angle and just 4 quick strokes across it, and that'll make that point re-sharpen it real good for you. And just do that on all 3. The best way to really sharpen a hook, though, takes a little bit more time, and this is what I do before I go out fishing. I take the flat file and kind of on an angle here across the edge on both sides and then across the top. So you got that sharp, knife blade type sharpness to it. That's what you do.
Thanks for watching, everybody. And if you have any ideas on tips or tactics you'd like explained, please leave in the comments below. We'll try to include that in a future video. Thanks again. See you on the next video.